What if the final battle you're fighting isn't an external enemy, but the part of yourself that believes survival requires sacrificing who you are, and true victory means standing firm in your truth, even when every instinct screams to retreat? In The Last Stand, Elle Gray delivers a romantic suspense novel that transforms the apocalyptic showdown trope into a profound exploration of resilience and relational anchoring, proving that in landscapes defined by collapse, the most defensible position is mutual trust. This isn't merely another end-of-world thriller with high-stakes action, it's a psychologically precise narrative where every tactical decision feels like both duty and devotion. Consent is negotiated through shared vulnerability rather than assumed protection, and love means choosing presence when extinction demands self-preservation. From the first ash-choked narration, listeners are immersed in a world where safety is temporary and connection is the only permanent shelter. Perfect for fans of emotionally grounded dystopian fiction and stories where female strength thrives within catastrophe, this audiobook serves up relentless atmospheric dread, unflinching emotional honesty, and protagonists whose journey from isolated survivors to sovereign partners resonates with anyone who's ever believed endurance required solitude. When former combat medic Lena Carter fortifies her remote compound against marauders in a post-collapse America, she expects solitary vigilance. Not to discover the wounded stranger she reluctantly shelters carries intelligence that could save her community, and his quiet competence mirrors the leadership she spent years suppressing beneath trauma. But as Lena navigates supply shortages and fractured trust, she realizes this alliance isn't about utility, it's about integration. Gray masterfully avoids reducing Lena to hardened survivor or Kaylin to savior archetype. Instead, she crafts a relationship rooted in radical reciprocity within constraint, where trust is earned through honoring boundaries, even as danger blurs them, and where intimacy emerges from seeing each other's damage without demanding repair. The audiobook narration amplifies this emotional alchemy, capturing Lena's disciplined restraint fracturing into genuine receptivity, and Kaylin's guarded intensity revealing warmth beneath stoic vigilance. You don't just hear their bond deepen, you feel the seismic shift of two souls learning that some stands can only be held together. What elevates The Last Stand beyond typical dystopian suspense fare is its nuanced portrayal of survival as collaborative practice rather than individual triumph. Lena isn't merely defending territory, she's confronting how collapse taught her to equate worth with self-reliance, challenging the notion that safety requires emotional armor. Kaylin doesn't rescue her through strength, he creates space where her leadership can exist without domination, honoring her autonomy even as his own walls crumble. Their relationship evolves through acts of radical reciprocity, sharing silences during night watches that bypass performance, establishing nonverbal cues that protect both operational integrity and emotional safety, and defending each other from allies who mistake tenderness for weakness. Supporting characters add vital texture, fellow survivors whose loyalty masks grief, raiders whose brutality reflects systemic failure, even the compound itself rendered as living archive whose reinforced walls absorb decades of unspoken resilience. Every interaction reinforces the novel's core truth. In worlds built on scarcity, generosity is strategy, and presence is the only true defense. Even the suspense mechanics serve thematic depth, with perimeter checks mirroring emotional attunement and resource allocation becoming metaphors for earned trust. For audiobook listeners, this production is an immersive, sensory descent into fortified intimacy. The narrator embodies Lena and Kaylin with remarkable distinction. Lena's voice carries gravelly exhaustion laced with dawning warmth, while Kaylin's low timbre trembles with suppressed tenderness beneath disciplined cadence, making their chemistry palpable even in stillness. Sound design enhances atmosphere without overwhelming immersion. Distant wind through broken structures marking temporal rhythm, rain against barricaded windows during vulnerable confessions, and the hushed click of weapons syncing with breath during moments of connection, all anchor existential stakes in tangible reality. Pacing mirrors the cadence of siege life, deliberate during preparation and reflection, then surging with urgency as external threats collide with internal awakenings. Whether you're commuting through stable landscapes or sitting in twilight solitude, the audiobook creates a portable sanctuary where slowness feels sacred and connection feels lifeline. It's storytelling as embodied validation, transforming passive listening into active participation in a love story that honors both survival and surrender. Press play, secure the perimeter, and prepare to believe that even in landscapes shaped by ruin, hearts still find ways to hold ground.